Welcome to A1R Psychic Radio on Moonstruck TV, here with Amanda Hall Psychic, all the way from the Gold Coast. For those of you that tuned into my previous little segment before on the amazing Michelle Conway show, welcome back to everybody that was tuning in with Michelle's show, and welcome here to my show today. We had an absolutely fantastic time with Michelle. It's always great to work with another fellow psychic from here in Australia, but everywhere in the world we have some very talented psychics. Now, before we kick the show off this week, again, I want to sort of ask everybody to hold hands, take a little moment of reflection and really think about all those poor children that lost their lives last week in that terrible school shooting in the US of A. I don't know how people come back from a tragedy like that. It blows my mind to think that, you know, innocent little children going to school who should be safe, and so should the teachers and the staff that attend these facilities to keep our children safe, should be able to go to school without fear and without worrying without being frightened if somebody's going to come in and take a gun and take your life. I think it's a terrible tragedy. I can only speak from my heart and say that my heart does go out to all the families, all the people that have lost somebody or had somebody injured or just know somebody. It is something that I think is life-changing, and I hope somewhere along the line that you find some sort of peace out of this, and maybe something good will come out of this. Maybe this might be the turning point with your students all standing together and sort of asking for gun controls and gun laws to be changed. Maybe this is what it takes, is the youth coming through and sort of voicing their opinion and saying, hey, you grown-ups, maybe you've got this wrong. I can't emphasise enough how sad I was to hear that, and it has really affected me in this last week, because I just think it's such a tragic waste of beautiful lives and some very, very talented young people that will never get to reach their full potential. Yes, they are all angels now flying high, but that's a terrible way for them to reach angel status. Anyway, kicking on with the show, and hopefully we can move the pace along and bring some positivity and some light into things. This week it was an interesting choice when I drew the card of the week this morning here in Australia. I really sort of was very tempted to put it back and say, oh no, let's get another card. And I thought, no, that's being naughty, because this is the energy that has come out. This is the energy that we're all to share. And just because it wasn't one of the more positive cards doesn't mean that there isn't a message here that we all need to embrace. So I will share it with you. It is the 8 of Swords. Now, the 8 of Swords, if you can see that well enough to the camera, the lady's there bound and gagged. She's feeling quite frustrated and feeling bound and gagged. So I suppose in a sense it's a very appropriate card, with hence everything that's happened in the world in the last 7 days, that a lot of us are feeling this tremendous frustration and tremendous sort of anger and not knowing what to do with ourselves, and feeling as if we're bound and gagged and our voice is not being heard at what we, the majority of the people, want changed in the world, whether it's gun laws or whether it's, you know, changing the way we look at global warming, or whether it's the way we look at politicians that aren't doing what they're elected to do by their representatives. There's a lot of things that I think need to change in the world at the moment, and I suppose this, in a sense, is a very, very apt card for that. So it's always interesting as the energy starts to change, and we have constant changes of energy all the time, but particularly on an astrological level, as we go from one energy or one sign into the other, I always feel then people start to feel restless a couple of days before the energy changes, and they also seem to feel a little bit betwixt and between as the energy moves into the new energy as well. So I feel this time we've really sort of noticed it. We had Valentine's Day last week, and then that terrible tragedy with the school children, and then it was sort of like, bang, we're ready for a change of energy. We had another eclipse, and it's like, gee, I don't know where to put myself. You know, it's like, I know that we're all in this amazing journey together, but sometimes we all can feel a little bit confused and a little bit upset about knowing what the next thing is. Well, I'm pleased to say the energy has moved out of Aquarius, and I'm not saying I'm disappointed that we've left Aquarius. I love the Aquarian time of the year, because I think it's one of those great light bulb times where we get some tremendous insight and some tremendous answers, and we seem to be able to keep our emotions a little bit more under wraps, and, you know, we get a lot of thinking and positive things done. But then I always find it's a nice welcome relief when the energy sort of slides into Pisces, and we get that beautiful, gentle water energy where things start to become a little bit more mystical, things start to become a little bit more creative. And that's one of my favourite times of the year, is the Pisces energy, which we've just now gone into. because I feel it starts to get everybody being creative, tempers calm down a little bit, people start to sort of exhale a little bit and say, okay, what are the last few things that I need to do in this astrological year, being the last sign of the zodiac? So it's sort of like the end of the year for astrology, and it's like, okay, let's hurry up, let's tidy things up. We've had the Chinese New Year in the middle of it, and sort of like, let's get everything tidied up, dusted off, put away, maybe give ourselves a little bit of time to go to the beach or near the water or do something that rejuvenates our soul. And it's always a time where people find that they go to the movies more, or listen to more music, or attend a concert, or just generally do things that are really relaxing for the soul. So, of course, my obvious choice this week with the Simply Tarot with the candle of the week, I might get my words right in a minute, is the water sign candle, which is the candle for Pisces energy particularly. And this is a time where we can, even if we're not a water sign, we can still work with a water sign energy, because it enables us to set in motion the things that we want to achieve on a creative level. If you've been trying to come up with ideas to increase your business, or to start a new road project, or write a new play, or start a book, or just do something creative, take up a hobby, this is the time to get out your water sign candle, write your intentions underneath it, read it out aloud, burn it for about an hour a day for the next, however long you want to do it. You can do it for the full 28-day cycle if you wish, or you can do it for just a couple of days. So it's entirely up to you. I like to sort of burn the energy of the candle for the month, for the energy that we're in. I try and burn that at least every day for at least half an hour, so that I'm really fully encompassing the energy as such. So, continuing on with our theme that everything's moving into Pisces, and it is. So our little trip around the universe this week, our glimpse of what's happening in the universe, is going to focus very much on Pisces. So whether or not you're a Piscean, it doesn't really matter. This really does affect each and every one of us in varying degrees. So at the moment we have the sun in Pisces, obviously, because that's where we get what energy the zodiac is in at the moment, is the sun has moved into Pisces. Now the sun is actually holding hands, or known as conjunct, Mercury. And we've often spoken about Mercury on the show. Mercury is the planet of communication. So when you have the sun, or where our ego comes from, conjunct or holding hands with Mercury, it's indicating that it is now the perfect time for us to voice things that we've been holding on to. It's the time to make that presentation. It's that time to go and ask for the raise. It's that time, if you have a difficult conversation that you need to have with a loved one or a close friend, now's the time to do it. But hang on a minute, before you do so, make sure that you approach this in a very gentle, calm sort of way. It's not the time to go charging in like the bull in the china shop. Sit down, make a few notes, practice it. How would you open the conversation? What would you say? How can you put it across in a non-threatening way? Because this is about sort of being able to paint pictures with words, getting people to come along this mystical journey with you of, as you're describing or sharing with them what's on your mind, they need to be able to visualize it and imagine they're there with you and are right in the moment with you. And that's really important. But also, to add to that, a few degrees away, not actually holding hands with Sun and Mercury, but we have two other planets that are holding hands also in Pisces, and that is Venus, the planet of love and affection, and it is also Neptune, the planet of illusion and delusion. So on a separate issue in Pisces, we've got matters of the heart, holding hands with the planet of illusion or delusion or creativity, or things sort of coming out of being unclear into the clear. So it's sort of like the fog is lifting. So if there's been an emotional or a romantic issue that you feel like you've been in a little bit of a fog, or you haven't really been able to see clearly, and now you sort of feel as if you're gaining some traction, you're getting some control in your life, you're getting answers, that's a great thing. So it's sort of like, it's like two situations. It's like one hand and another hand, both sitting in Pisces, but we can see this gap between them, as if there's some air flowing between the two sets of planets holding hands with each other. So on this hand, we've got the Sun and Mercury holding hands, and over here we've got Venus and Neptune holding hands. So, pardon me. So even though they're in the same energy, they're doing completely different jobs. So the Sun and Mercury is asking you to communicate, get things out into the open, allow things to happen the way that you want them to. Over here, on the other hand, if you've got a matter of the heart that hasn't been clear, now is the time to search your soul and try and find some clarity and get some answers. Now, when you've done that, and they may be two issues that can maybe come together and join hands and move forward, or maybe they need to remain separate and you may only have one, not the other, that's okay. But whatever your issues are, make sure that you deal with them the best you can over the next few days, and don't let this golden opportunity slip through your fingers when the energy is like the water lapping the shore. So I think we're going to be ready now to take our first caller, and it's Teresa in Orange Beach, Alabama. Are you there, Teresa?
Yes.
How can I help you, sweetie?
I was just kind of wondering if you could just tell me anything that you're feeling right now. I have a lot of changes going on in my life, and I'm just wondering, maybe about love or money, just anything that you can feel.
Okay. Yeah, look, I certainly, as you were talking to me, I picked up that, yes, definitely there is a lot of changes going on in your life at the moment. It's like I could see like a series of doors slamming shut. It's like 1, 2, 3, as if there's 3 major issues that have either coming to a conclusion or are about to come to a conclusion where there is change. One, I think, is going to be your work. I think that's where we need to start. The job situation that you're in at the moment, I don't feel particularly comfortable. Have you been thinking about changing?
Well, actually, I'm not working right now. I have some medical issues.
Okay. All right. But that will still come out as a job change to me. So if you've got medical issues, are we getting to the bottom of those where you can see light at the end of the tunnel where you will be able to return back to some form of work soon?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, good. So that to me is a change. So when they show me a change like that, it's a change from where you're currently sitting at the moment. So I feel by April we should have you back into work.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, it may not be full time, but back into sort of, starting to get back into work. And I think, a couple of days a week and then easing your way up. And I think the job situation that you'll be offered will allow you to sort of, come back into the workforce gently and gradually as your health will allow it. The second thing is, by going back to work, yes, you're going to have more money and that will sort of take some of the financial pressure off. But that's not exactly all I'm going to say to you about finances this year too. I think what you've learned in the last 6 to 12 months is that you had to learn to live within your means. You've cut out things that were no longer necessarily useful or needed to be in your life. So you've actually sort of clawed back your spending to a level now that even when you get back into more affluent times, and you will not go back to that sort of wastage of what you were doing before. You've got everything very finely tuned now, and I think you should give yourself a gold star for that. The third part I want to look at, is there a relationship that's just ended or is just hanging on by a thread?
There's actually someone that I met from my past or have recently kind of reconnected with, but right. I have relationship issues. I can't get close to anyone, and he's a really good person, but I just don't know what to do with the situation.
So when you say you don't know what to do with the situation, is that your gut feeling that maybe I'm not looking at this squarely, or is it just because of issues you've had from previous relationships that you don't trust your own judgment?
I think it's both.
No, I was going to say that, yes, I think it is a bit of both. Look, I'm not saying I don't like the man coming back from your past. What I'm going to suggest to you is take it very, very slowly, because I don't know that he's necessarily been completely open and upfront and told you everything that you need to know, and maybe you haven't done the same either. So let's just take it very slowly, very steadily. I don't think at the moment you're emotionally ready to go back into a full-blown relationship anyway. You have so many other things on your plate. Like, let's get your health right. Let's get you back to work. And then, the relationship side of life can take care of itself. It's like number one focus has got to be health, because if you haven't got that, you haven't got anything. You know,
right.
You want to feel the very, very best that you can feel. I'm not saying we're going to get you back to 100% health, but I'm certainly seeing a hell of a lot more improvement than what we've got now. And again, I think it's sort of like parts of it you could have maybe avoided, but parts of it you couldn't. And this is where we're at, and this is what we've got to deal with. And going forward, we're going to encompass, you know, what medical practitioners say, what my instincts tell me, and what I know works. You know what I mean? Sort of like it's going to be a whole complete package. And each day you will start to feel a little bit better. And that in turn will bring everything to you in the way that it's meant to be. Sweetie, can I be blunt with you and say, look, I don't even think that even if you and this man from your past got together before August, it wouldn't really go anywhere yet because you're not ready for it. And I don't even know that he is either. Let's just enjoy the friendship for the moment. You know, let's just enjoy having a companion, someone we can have a chat with, somebody we can, you know, spend time with, and not put a relationship in the middle of that. Let's just let it be for the moment and see where it takes us. And I think that way then I think both of you can relax a lot more and get to know each other again. I mean, it's been a long time. Lots of things have changed in your life since you were girlfriend and boyfriend before. So let's look at this as a brand new relationship as grown-ups, not children.
I agree.
And then I think, you know, there's I'm saying a real chance for a magical relationship there, because I only want to use the word chance at this point because you may find out things along the way, or you might think to yourself, well, I'm not ready for a relationship and he is, so there, you know, the opportunity was there, you could have taken the chance, but you decided to say no. You know, I mean, you know, 4 or 5 months away from now, we're still a long way away when we've got to get your health right first.
Right.
But you certainly won't be without love. That's what, you know, I'm saying you've got the opportunity there for that, but let's not sort of push it into that direction at the moment. Let's just enjoy it for what it is, a nice friendship, and you getting your life back into complete control of where you're happy with where your life's going. And then you can make choices that you need to make. But I do see lots of hearts around you, so I'm going to assume it is him. But I'm also seeing you becoming so strong in yourself, Teresa, that, you know, you're just going to be powering ahead and, you know, making choices that might seem to other people quite selfish, but they're not selfish as far as you're concerned because it's what you need to do for you.
Excellent.
That's good, you know, like if everybody really was honest with themselves and looked after themselves, then they'd find they'd attract the right relationship because the person they would attract would complement where they're at in their lives.
Makes sense.
Yes, it's been lovely to talk with you, Teresa. I wish you the very best for your future. We're going to work with Sue in Coal City in Illinois. Are you there, Sue?
Yes, ma'am.
How can I help you tonight, Sue?
I'm good.
Do you have a question for me, sweetie?
Yeah, I was just trying to see what my future holds as far as with family, relationships, and my health.
Okay. All right, first things first, Sue. I sort of feel that you're trying to be too much to everybody else and not looking after Sue first.
Exactly.
Do you agree with that? So I want to sort of try to balance the other way. It's like we've got to put Sue at the head of the queue, and then we sort of work our way down, not the other way, not where we're working up to Sue. We're going to work from Sue down. It's not going to be easy because you're the person that's very much a giver. You don't take anything for yourself, and that's how you've been all your life. So for you to now try and turn this around and flip it on its head and go the exact opposite is going to be hard work. And you know that and I know that, but you can consciously start to try and do that. By doing that, Sue, not only are you going to bring your life into more of a balance by being more in control and being more in control of your own destiny, but that will also bring other things into play. It's like, you know, you're ready for changes. It's like you're ready to throw everything out that no longer suits you anymore. But the thing is, you've got nothing to replace it with at this point. So therefore, you're hanging on to it because I've got nothing to replace it with. Something's better than nothing. Well, in this way, if we start to put you first and start looking at what your needs are, what do you need to do first in your life to start you on the new journey? Well, the first thing I think we need to do is put you first. then secondly, I think we need to look at what is it that you can change now, today, this week? What is something that we can do positive in your life that will start you on this journey? And one of those things is, I think, looking at your work situation. There's nothing wrong with the job or the work situation that you've got at the moment, but you just know long-term wise this is not where you want to be. So what we need to do is address that and look at that. Is there some sort of course or study or something like that that you can do that will give you the skill set that you need to get to where you want to go? If the answer is yes, then we need to explore that and how quickly we can get into that. Have we got the money to do it and those sort of things? So we're actively taking steps, working towards your future and where you need to go. Secondly, I think you need to sort of sidestep the fact that you have to feel this overdeveloped sense of responsibility to look after everybody else in the family. If we don't look after Sue first, then there'll be nothing in Sue to look after anyone else. So that's really important. Now, when you say family, is there somebody that's been sick in the family that you've had to give extra attention to?
Yes.
Because I don't want to use the word burden because I don't like that word. I mean, we do these things because we want to, and sometimes out of a sense of obligation too. But to me, it was sort of more, you did it because you wanted to, but I'm also saying what I'm picking up is other people are now expecting it of you. Like they're not pulling their fair share. Do you know what I mean? You don't mind doing your part, but everybody else pitch in and help a little bit too. Don't just leave it all to Sue. And that's been a really big struggle for you to sort of even muster up the energy to say something to somebody, because even if you do that and they don't do anything about it, it still falls back on you and you sort of think, oh, why don't bother even trying to mention it to begin with? I may as well have just done it. I agree with that to a certain point, but the thing is you have become physically and emotionally exhausted. And that's my primary concern is for you. If you fall off the wagon, if you fall down in a screaming heap, then you're not going to be any help to the person that needs your help. Then what's the rest of the family going to do? Are they going to sit back and say, oh, dear, Sue's sick? Oh. Like as if, you're this immortal person that never falls off your perch. Well, you're only human and you do have breaking points. So it's going to be a slow process of you trying to sort of encourage them that they've got to actively take a role in this too. So is this a female that's been very sick?
It's my father.
Yeah, but I'm also picking up a female. Who's the female?
My mother.
Has she not been well either?
No. Yes, exactly. She's been sick too, but my father's really sick.
Yeah, they're both sick, but I'm not trying to minimise Dad's illness. Please don't think I'm trying to do that. But what I'm sort of picking up now is I think Mum's going to get progressively worse too.
Yes.
And it's almost like they're neck and neck. If you put them in a race situation, who's the sickest, they're about on the same footing or heading towards being on the same footing. And this is another reason why I'm saying people have got to start, other family members have got to start giving you some help. This is not a good situation. Darling, I wish I could wave a magic wand and take some of this burden off you and say to you they're both going to be all right. But I think both you and I know that's not realistic, is it?
No, it's not.
It's just a matter of, how and when and how do we make what time they've got left as comfortable as possible, and in a way that they're going to be happy with. And that's a hard burden in itself because you're only one person and you're not a medical practitioner that's got, all the equipment and people and resources at your fingertips that you can make everything comfortable. And yet at the same time, you're trying to do that to the best of your ability. I take my hat off to you, Sue. You're really doing a lot. So it's a difficult situation because there will come a time when a decision will have to be made, and I think it'll be taken out of your hands as far as medical care for both Mum and Dad.
Mm-hmm.
And I look, it's not my place to say when. I just know it's soon. I know it's not years away. It may only be months away, but it's coming. You know that. And I think it's time that some of the other family members realise that and use this time to spend some quality time with your folks.
I totally agree.
Yeah. So is there someone special in your life, Sue?
Right now, not really. This has caused a separation between me and my husband, and it's divorce on the way, but I just trying to see if anything is going to happen the way I want somebody to be with me, the way I want it to be, instead of the way it is right now.
I'm really sad to hear that, Susan. So did your husband have dark hair?
Yes.
Because I just don't feel that he's completely gone. I know you said you're heading for divorce, but what I got was I just got the back of his head. I didn't get to see his face, as if he was turned away from you, but he hadn't necessarily gone away from you. Does that make any sense?
Yes.
And I'm not even sure that he wants a divorce.
That I want it?
I don't know whether it's him that doesn't want the divorce or whether it's you, but it's sort of like I just see these question marks around, is this the right decision?
I want it over, but I want to find somebody in the future that I can be with, that I'm going to be happy, instead of being the one trying to make everybody, like you said, everybody else happy, to keep things together.
I understand what you're saying. All I'm saying to you is just be aware, I don't think he completely, definitely wants a divorce. That doesn't mean he's not going to get one, but I'm just letting you know we're seeing around that. Also, I do feel that there will be someone else, Susan, but I don't think it's going to be this year, sweetie. So I think we've got to get these other areas of your life straightened out, and just know that there will be one there for you with lighter brown hair, bluey greeny coloured eyes, who will treat you like a princess and really look after you the way that you do. But I'm going to say 2018 is not going to be the easiest of years for you, Sue, and you already know that. But, you know, just keep strong, keep putting one foot in front of the other, and don't try and think too far ahead. I think that's the secret to getting through this, taking, you know, smaller bite-sized steps. Anyway, I wish you well for the future, Sue, and just keep positive, sweetheart. Things are going to turn around and become your way. Well, that brings us to the end of our show. Next week we'll be looking at the full moon. We'll also have our Simply Tarot card of the week. We'll have a new candle next week. And for those of you that want to get a reading from me, you can always jump across to my Facebook page, Amanda Hall Psychic, and you can message me there. If you want something talked about on the show, you have a particular topic, please, by all means, send me a private message and I'll incorporate it into the show in the coming weeks. For those of you that would like to participate in my little mini workshop I'll be having here on Facebook Live just after my show here on A1R Psychic Radio on Moonstruck TV. This week we're having a little mini workshop on Pisces. Hope you can join us.